Muling nagbabalik ang boses ng Artificial Intelligence para sa bawat Filipino. Ito na ang The AI Talks with the VoiceMaster. Kasama ang nag-iisang AI VoiceMaster Pocholo de Leon Gonzalez.
Talks with the VoiceMaster!
Ang mga tagapagbalita ng programang ito, sina Ira at Ivan, ay mga AI-generated animated reporters. Bagamat kami ay produkto ng artificial intelligence, ang lahat ng balita, impormasyon at analysis na aming inihahatid ay totoo, beripikado at batay sa lehitimong pinagkukunang sources. Walang fake news dito. Tiwala kaming mas maiintindihan ninyo ang teknolohiya sa pamamagitan ng teknolohiya mismo. Narito na ang mga pinakamainit na balita sa mundo ng AI. Narito na ang Balitang AI. Kasama sina Ira at Ivan, Artificial Intelligence News Network.
Great day! Mabuhay! Ako si Ira, inyong Artificial Intelligence Reporter Analyst, at narito ang karagdagang detalye sa opisyal na ulat tungkol sa paglulunsad at Founding Members Induction ng Philippine AI Business Association o PAIBA. Ang PAIBA Founding Members Induction ay ginanap noong January 21, 2026 mula 1 o'clock in the afternoon hanggang 5 o'clock in the afternoon sa Novotel Manila, Araneta City, Monet Ballroom 3. Ang dress code na Filipiniana at Barong Tagalog ay nagbigay diin sa pambansang identidad ng okasyon habang tinatalakay ang hinaharap ng teknolohiya sa bansa. Ang hapon ay idinisenyo upang pagsama-samahin ang mga organisasyon at lider na aktibong humuhubog kung paano nauunawaan, tinatanggap at isinasabuhay ang artificial intelligence sa iba't ibang industriya at institusyon sa Pilipinas. Kabilang sa mahahalagang bahagi ng programa, ang formal na induction ng mga bagong miyembro ng asosasyon, isang strategic learning session na nakatuon sa praktikal na paggamit ng AI sa negosyo, at isang malawak na networking opportunity para sa mga founders, executives, at AI practitioners. Ang kombinasyong ito ang nagbigay linaw sa layunin ng PAIBA na hindi lamang magturo, kundi magtayo ng isang aktibong ecosystem para sa mga SME at organisasyong Pilipino.
Your name and what you do?
Donald Lim, I'm with Dito CIB. I'm also president of the MAP and the Global AI Council.
What do you do?
Well, I'm my day job, of course, I'm with a holding company, but I'm also, I would say, I'm a proponent and an advocate of AI, proper AI use. As part of my role in the Global AI Council, we recognize that AI will be one of the biggest competitive advantage that any organization can have, no? And we believe that for the Philippines to be globally competitive, especially now that we are chairing ASEAN, AI has to be put to good use. Not only just ChatGPT, but AI as a whole should be integrated into the entire process of the company, from the operations to HR to sales and marketing, and the entire functional groups within any organization.
When was the first time you encounter AI?
We've all encountered. I think we all encountered AI mostly just in movies, right? But we never appreciated it. I think right now we're seeing it already. I think from in our as a consumer, when you look at Google, Yahoo, before even Netflix or Spotify, they're already using AI. So I think it's not alien to us. I think the bigger question is how can we use it to our advantage in our day-to-day work and in our respective organizations.
When was the first time you used AI?
For me, of course, we've been using AI, we just don't know it. I think when you talk about really using AI purposely, I think maybe that's my experience with ChatGPT. So that's only 2 years ago, no? And then we begin to realize how fascinating it can be.
So what makes it different, and what makes AI very important?
AI is important because it hastens our work. We always believe that humans, while we are all the creativity and innovation comes from our heads. We need the arms, the hands to push it further. No? So AI is not only artificial intelligence. I always say it's accelerator. It's an acceleration intelligence. So it can actually allow us to hasten our work, to see, to fail, and to learn from it, right? And I think that's the power of AI being put to good use.
So what can you say to our fellow Filipino, ordinary Filipino, about the usage of AI?
I think every Filipino should learn to master it. We are already being left behind by a lot of our ASEAN counterparts. Even if you look at the best in class already from the US, China, India, they're all experts, so to speak, in AI. You're seeing elementary students learning AI in their respective countries. I think every Filipino should learn how to use it so that they can further themselves. No, if they say digital or the internet is the equalizer, the use of AI is the ultimate equalizer.
Any last message to the Filipino people?
For the Filipinos to succeed, even not as a country, but as for yourself, you have to learn and adapt the wave of AI. I think, again, it doesn't have to be very techy. You have to find ways where you can learn it, no, within yourself. How when you do your day-to-day work, when you do your corporate jobs, or even if you are just a mom and pop entrepreneur, find ways so that AI can really help you do your business better and make it more efficient.
Yes, so ang PAIBA is an association for Filipino SMEs. Ang goal po namin ay tulungan ang mga micro, small and medium enterprises para i-implement ang AI. And sinasabi natin na ito ang tamang panahon because importante na tayo'y mag-innovate. Alam naman natin na yung AI ang daming dinidisrupt na operations ng industry. So kung hindi tayo mag-i-innovate, pwedeng mawala yung ating negosyo. Kaya tamang panahon ngayon na mag-innovate using AI kasi makakatulong po ito sa ating negosyo.
Because madalas marinig na AI is complicated pang big companies na ito. Paano natin sigurado na ang AI adaption ay simple, practical at relatable para sa mga Filipino SMEs na sinabi.
Tama po yun, no? So kadalasan pag narinig natin ang AI, ang akala natin para sa mga malalaking companies lang. Pero ang katotohanan po is pwede po ito sa even sa mga maliliit na mga negosyante. Kaya ang goal po ng PAIBA is tulungan yung maliliit na negosyo, i-simplify yung mga concept ng AI and turuan sila paano magagamit ang AI ng mura at madali para sa kanilang lahat.
Okay, sir. Paano na yung iba ang PAIBA? Paano na iba ang PAIBA sa ibang tech or A1 groups or AI groups na lalong pagdating sa actual experience sa mga business owners sa paggamit ng AI?
So ang PAIBA po, we're very proud na composed po siya ng mga SMEs at mga tech experts. So karamihan po kasi ngayon when you go around, ang nangyayari is yung mga associations, maraming mga tech associations pero puro mga tech people yung nandun na kumbaga medyo naiitsapwera yung mga negosyante. Pag pumunta sila doon, sinasabi nila na nosebleed, no? Hindi nila maintindihan kasi masyadong complicated. Now, meron naman pong mga business associations pero kulang sila sa knowledge ng AI. Kaya ang goal po ng PAIBA is i-combine both ang business associations at ang tech people under one roof kasi naniniwala po kami na kung gusto natin na i-fast track ang adoption ng AI, lalong-lalo na sa mga maliliit na negosyo, dapat po nasa isang room ang businesses at tech people. Kaya dito po sa PAIBA, welcome ang mga tech experts at welcome lalo na ang mga maliliit na negosyante na gustong matuto kung paano mai-implement ang AI.
Sir, ano po ang commitment na inaasahan ng PAIBA sa mga business leaders na bahagi ng association?
So marami po kaming mga activities dito sa PAIBA. So meron po kaming tinatawag na AI Connect sessions. Ito po, puro libre po to. Libreng sessions para dun sa mga tao, mga negosyante na gusto matuto paano implement ang AI. Meron din po kaming mga hackathons. Ito mga deeper dive sessions na i-implement natin paano i-transform yung isang proseso sa negosyo with AI. So for example, customer service. Pag-uusapan natin, paano nga ba i-automate yung customer service or kaya yung sales natin, etc. Lahat po yan advocacy ng PAIBA. We partner with different government institutions as well para turuan po yung mga negosyante natin na paano tamang mag-implement ng AI.
Sir, minsan niyo po sa mga negosyanteng natatanong pa rin gusto nyo competitive ba sa bagong economic landscape?
tama po yun, medyo nakakatakot po yung AI kasi nga bago siya. Pero very important po na tandaan natin na lagi ko ngang sinasabi na kapag hindi po tayo nag-innovate, kapag hindi natin yung in-adapt yung technology, maiiwan po tayo. So balikan po natin nung early 2000, yung buzzword is basically computerized. No? So kung hindi ka marunong gumamit ng computer, maiiwan ka. Now in the early 2010s, social media naman. So kung hindi ka marunong gumamit ng social media, maiiwan ka. Ngayon po, AI is a big opportunity. Sabi ko nga, parang equalizer siya sa mga big businesses because with AI, kahit maliit na negosyo ka lang, pwede mong i-implement yung AI at matutulungan kang mapalago yung inyong negosyo at maging efficient yung inyong operation. So tamang-tama po na gamitin natin at huwag tayong matakot sa AI.
Sir, your name, please.
Ako po si Jerry Ilaw, co-founder and founding president ng Philippine AI Business Association. Inaanyayahan ko po kayo na mag-visit sa aming website paiba.org para po kung gusto nyong malaman ano pa ang pwedeng service na mabigay namin sa inyo. Maraming salamat po.
Muling pinatunayan ng dami at kalidad ng dumalo na ang interes ng mga negosyo sa AI ay hindi na mababaw. Ang mga SME ay hindi na nagtatanong kung kailangan ba nila ang AI. Ang tanong ngayon ay paano ito gagamitin ng tama, etikal at kapaki-pakinabang para sa kanilang paglago. Sa opisyal na pagbubukas ng PAIBA, malinaw ang mensahe ng pamunuan. Ang asosasyon ay narito upang magbigay ng direksyon, suporta at kolektibong lakas upang matiyak na walang negosyong Pilipino ang maiiwan sa patuloy na AI transformation. Ako si Aira. At ito ang Balitang AI kung saan ang teknolohiya ay may malinaw na direksyon at ang negosyo ay may kasamang malasakit at layunin.
Sa likod ng bawat inobasyon, may kwento ng tao. Narito ang segment kung saan teknolohiya ay nagiging personal. Ito ang AI and Personal Interviews kasama sa AI Talks with the VoiceMaster.
Welcome to How to Build the Future. Today our guest is Mark Zuckerberg. Mark, you have built one of the most influential companies in the history of the world, so we are especially excited that you are here.
I'm not sure where to go from there.
Well, why don't we start with just the early days of Facebook? Tell us what it was like when you started it.
Sure. So, for me, the thing that I was really fascinated by, and always have been, is people, right? And how people work. When I was in college, I studied psychology and computer science. And one of the things that you learn when you study psychology is that there are all these parts of the brain which are geared just towards understanding people, right? Understanding language, how to communicate with each other, understanding facial expressions, emotions, processing. Yet when I looked out at the internet, right, in 2004, which is when I was getting started, you can find almost anything else that you wanted, right? You could find news, movies, music, reference materials. But the thing that mattered the most to people, which was other people and like understanding what's going on with them, just wasn't there, right? And I think what was going on was that all that other content was just out there, able to be indexed by, search engines and other services. Yeah. But in order to understand what's going on with people, you needed to build tools that made it so that they could express what was going on with themselves. I wanted to figure out what courses to take, so I built this little website, Course Match, that that just made it so that you could enter what courses you were taking and you could click on them and see who else was in them, and it did all these correlations, so it told you people who took this course were likely to enjoy this course too. And the thing that just struck me from the beginning is people would just spend hours clicking through here are the courses that people are taking, and wow, isn't it interesting that this person is interested in these things, and it was just text, right? There was nothing that was like super interesting there, but that just struck me as people have this deep thirst to understand what's going on with those around them. And, there were probably, 10 other things like that I built when I was at Harvard before I actually got around to building the first version of Facebook that kind of added a lot of these things together.
Did you think Facebook was going to be a company when you started?
I built the first version of Facebook because it's something that my friends and I wanted to use at Harvard, a directory and a way to connect with the other people around us. And I didn't think at all that it was going to be a company. I remember very specifically the night that that we launched the first version. I went out to get pizza with a couple of my friends who now work here, and I remember really clearly we were talking about how one day we thought that someone was going to build a community like this for the world, and that would be some company. But it clearly wasn't going to be us. I mean, it wasn't even.
It didn't even occur.
Yeah, no, I mean, it wasn't even an option that we considered that it might be us. I mean, we just weren't focused on building a company back then. We were just building something that we thought would be useful at our school.
So as you look back, is there something that made Facebook different from the other projects that you had built that allowed it to turn into the company it is today?
Well, for one, I think we kept going, right? So, I mean, the others, I mean, Course Match and, just the other different crowdsource tools, they kind of served their purpose, and then we were done. Whereas with Facebook, there was just such, people loved it, right? And had such an intensity of using it. I think within a couple of weeks, 2/3 of students at Harvard were using it. And all these other students at MIT and other local universities were writing in asking us if we could open up Facebook at their school. So we kind of just followed that, right? And, again, I didn't set out, and, my roommates didn't set out to build a service that we were going to turn into a company, but we just kind of followed what people wanted, and that led us to expand it to all these other schools and eventually beyond schools, and to, at some point, once we'd hired a bunch of people, we decided to turn it into a company and go for this mission of connecting the world. But that's not where we started.
As you think about where you did start, is there other advice that comes to mind that you give to other people that want to build products that you can take away from the early days of Facebook?
Yeah, I always think that you should start with the problem that you're trying to solve in the world, and not start with deciding that you want to build a company. Right? I mean, the best companies that get built are things that are trying to drive some kind of social change, even if it's just local in one place. More than starting out because you want to make a bunch of money or have a lot of people working for you or build some company in some way. So, I always think that this is kind of a perverse thing about Silicon Valley in a way, which is that people decide often that they want to start a company before they even decide what they want to do. And that just feels really backwards to me. And, for anyone who's had the experience of actually building a company, that you go through some really hard things along the way. And I think part of what gets you through that is believing in what you're doing and knowing that what you're doing is really delivering a lot of value for people. And that's, I think, how the best companies end up getting made.
What are you most excited about over the next 20 years? What do you think will be the major transformations? How will Facebook transform? How do you think the rest of the world will transform?
So we have this 10-year roadmap.
That was great.
3 of the big changes that we want to see in the world. And we're focused on 3 things. Connectivity, right? So getting everyone in the world on the internet. Right now, more than half the world is not on the internet, which is, I think a lot of people in Silicon Valley probably take this for granted, right? The internet, because it just is not uniformly available. And if we want to solve a lot of the big challenges of the world today, they're not problems that any one group of people or even one country can solve, right? They really involve coming together and giving everyone an opportunity to participate in solving them. So I think connecting everyone is really a key thing, which is going to be great for people around the world. The next one is AI. I think that's just going to unlock so much potential in so many different domains. And we use it at Facebook for a lot of different things, for showing people content that they're going to find more meaningful, for making sure that you connect with the people you actually care about on the service. But in a lot of ways, the work that we're doing on AI to push the fundamental, state of the art forward is exactly the same stuff that's going into systems that diagnose diseases better, right? Or find better drugs to treat people, or that other companies are using when they build self-driving cars. And these are things that are going to save lives, right? I mean, if you can, I heard this story recently that at this conference where someone has built a machine learning application where you can take a picture of a lesion on someone's skin, and it can detect instantly whether it's skin cancer, with the accuracy of the best dermatologists and doctors in the world. So, I mean, who doesn't want that, right? I mean, now, like, you're going to be able to put the power in your doctor's hand to become the best doctor in the world at that thing. Everyone will be the best doctor in the world. And that's a really fundamental thing, right? That, I get a little bit frustrated, I think, when people, fearmonger about AI and how it could end up hurting people, because I think in many real ways around diseases, around driving more safely, I mean, this is going to save people's lives and push people forward. So that's a really big deal, I think, for the next 10 years. And then, the next thing that I always think is going to make a big difference is, every 10 or 15 years, there's a new major computing platform that comes around that allows people to do completely different things than they could do before, right? So, 20 years ago, most of us were using desktop computers. They were kind of clunky. We used them in work because it made our work more productive, but most people didn't use them for fun. Now we have phones, which help us connect with each other, and they're much more human devices. But there's going to be another platform after that, and I think that's going to be virtual reality and augmented reality. And that, I think, is just going to help people, be more creative, experience what other people are feeling much more immersively than we even can through video and things like that today. So I'm really excited about that trend as well.
So you were 19 when you started Facebook. One question we hear a lot at Y Combinator is, I'm 19 today. I really want to, do whatever I can to make the world better. What should I do? So how do you advise people who are 19 today and want to impact the world like you have?
I always think that the most important thing that entrepreneurs should do is pick something they care about, work on it, but don't actually commit to turning it into a company until it's working. And I think that if you look at the data of like the very best companies that have gotten built, I actually think a tremendous % of them have been built that way, and not from people who decided up front that they wanted to start a company, because you just get locked into some local minimum a lot of the time, a local maximum.
I totally agree. And just to make this point, how far into Facebook did it actually become a company?
I don't know. I think it became a formal Delaware company when Peter Thiel invested about 6 months in. When we were first talking to Peter about raising money, Dustin and I were very clear with him that we were planning on going back to school. Right? I mean, I started Facebook when I was a sophomore. We took the summer off, right? No classes over the summer. We were working on it. And then, our stated game plan was to go back to school in the fall and continue working on it then, but not like sit in an office and work on it full time. And Peter was just kind of like, all right, sure you are. I guess he knew better than we did.
You think he just believed that you weren't actually going to go back to school?
He must have. I mean, you'd have to ask him. But
yeah. I will. We're interviewing him in this series. I will answer that question.
So I think he would probably say that he knew that we were not going to go back to school, or believed that he could talk us out of it, but he didn't have to. It was pretty clear that the amount of work was just growing so quickly. But we actually didn't drop out immediately. We told Harvard that we were taking 1 semester off. And then we told Harvard that we were taking another semester off, and then a year off. And then after that, we kind of decided we weren't going back.
Speaking of Peter, and sort of a closing question, what's the best piece of advice he ever gave you?
I think Peter was the person who told me this really pithy quote that in a world that's changing so quickly, the biggest risk you can take is not taking any risk. And I really think that that's true, right? I mean, a lot of people, I think that, whenever it comes to, whenever you get yourself into a position where you have to make some big shift in direction or do something, there are always people are going to point to the downside risks of that decision. And locally, they're maybe right? I mean, for any given decision that you're going to make, there's upside and downside. But in aggregate, if you are stagnant and you don't make those changes, then I think you're guaranteed to fail, right? And not catch up. So to some degree, I think it's really right that over time, the biggest risk that you can take is to not take any risks.
That is a great place to leave it. Thank you very much.
All right.
Hello! Welcome back! Mga ka-AI, mga ka-authentic innovators. Bago tayo magpaalam, hayaan nyo munang ilagay natin sa malinaw na konklusyon ang lahat ng napag-usapan natin tungkol sa AI at leadership. Sa panahon ngayon, hindi na tanong kung darating pa ba ang AI sa pamumuno. Nandito na siya. Actually, siya ang dahilan kung bakit naglalaban-laban ang mga bansa ngayon tulad ng China at Amerika. Kasama na natin siya kasi sa trabaho, sa desisyon, sa sistema at sa pang-araw-araw na operasyon. Pero alam niyo, malinaw din ang isang bagay. Hindi AI ang leader, okay? Tao pa rin. At AI ay hindi konsensya. Hindi ito may pananindigan, wala itong paninindigan. Hindi ito marunong umunawa ng takot, pagod at pangarap at syempre yung mga pangangailangan ng tao. So, ang kayang gawin ng AI ay pabilisin ang trabaho, linawin ang impormasyon, tulungan ang pag-iisip at bawasan ang bigat ng paulit-ulit na gawain. Pero ang direksyon, ang desisyon at ang epekto sa tao, nasa atin pa rin bilang mga leader. Nasa leader pa rin. Sa panahon ng AI, mas nahahayag kung anong klaseng leader ka. Nabubulgar. Kaya maraming corrupt officials ang ayaw sa AI. Kung malinaw ka mag-isip, mas malinaw kang gagawa at mas lilinaw ka. Kung makatao ka, mas magiging makatao ka. At kung magulo ka, mas magiging mabilis ang gulo. Kung walang tiwala, syempre mas lalala ang distansya. Kaya ang tunay na hamon ng AI leadership ay hindi technical. Ito ay moral at makatao. Paano mo gagamitin ang teknolohiya para palakasin ng tao? Hindi para bantayan sila. Paano mo gagamitin ng AI para magkaroon ka ng mas maraming oras sa coaching, mentoring at pakikinig? Paano mo gagamitin ang AI hindi bilang kapalit ng leader, kundi bilang katuwang ng isang leader na may malinaw na layunin? Ang leader na marunong gumamit ng AI ay hindi yung pinakamaraming tools, kundi yung may pinakamalinaw na prinsipyo. O, di ba? Sana nakikinig kayo mga opisyal ng gobyerno dahil nasa government radio station tayo dito sa Radyo Pilipinas. And I'm proud to be part of it. Alright? At dito po nagtatapos ang AI Talks with the VoiceMaster Episode 24, ang huling episode ng Season 2. Ako po ang inyong lingkod, ang nag-iisang Voice Master ng Pilipinas. Walang iba kundi si Pocholo de Leon Gonzales. Maraming salamat sa bawat Sabado na kasama ninyo kami sa pag-unawa, pag-uusap at paghubog ng mas makataong paggamit ng AI. Hindi po ito pamamaalam, ito po ay kumbaga pause para mas handa, mas malinaw at mas matibay sa susunod na kabanata. Siyempre season 3 na tayo next week eh. Stay connected with us. Siyempre may Facebook ako, The Voice Master. At siyempre AI Talks with the Voice Master. Naka-upload po lahat ng mga Facebook natin episodes doon. YouTube, AI Talks with the Voice Master. At siyempre ang TikTok and Instagram, Pocholo Gonzales. At ang website ko ay www.pochologonzales.com. At siyempre sa Spotify, naka-post din na yung mga past episodes natin ng AI Talks. Alright? So hanggang sa muli, mamuno ng may pag-iisip, mamuno ng may puso at gamitin ng AI hindi para palitan ang tao, kundi para iangat ang pagkatao. Mabuhay po kayo at maraming salamat sa mulihing pakikinig dito sa The AI Talks with the Voice Master. Bye-bye! See you next week! AI para sa masa!
AI Talks with the Voice Master!
Sa tindahan ni Aling Nena, sa sakayan ni Kuya Boy, may narinig na usapan, AI daw di lang laruan. Hoy, pang mayaman yan, sabi ng tambay sa kanto. Pero teka, kahit ako, pwede palang matuto. Hindi kailangan ng diploma o Ingles-Inglesan, basta may tanong, kasagot ay kaalaman. Sa radyo o online may matututunan. AI para sa masa, para sa sambayanan. Hey! Ay para sa masa, sa radyo humahatayo. Kwento mo ay mahalaga kahit ikaw ay simpleng tao. AI Talks with the Voice Master, lakas ng bagong sigla, boses ng bawat buwan, para sa bagong Pilipinas. Si Lola Inday nagtanong habang naglalaba, yung AI ba pwede rin sa matanda na? Opo naman Lola, gamit mo yan sa negosyo o kahit sa pag-order ng itlog at mantika sa tindahan mo. AI sa karinderya, AI sa eskinita, AI sa estudyante, vlogger sa probinsya, tindera, tanod, magsasaka o tsuper, lahat pwedeng matuto. Basta wag kang tatama-tama. AI para sa masa, sa radyo humahan tayo. Kwento mo ay mahalaga kahit ikaw ay simpleng tao. AI talks with the voice master, lakas ng bagong sigla, boses ng bawat huwan, para sa bagong Pilipinas. Wambog, ang AI hindi lang para sa tech expert, kundi para sa taong nagmamahal sa kinabukasan. Kasama mo kami sa AI Talks with the Voice Master. Hey, ay para sa masa, ay para sa masa, sa radyo humatayo. Kwento mo ay mahalaga kahit ikaw ay simpleng tao. AI Talks with the Voice Master, lakas ng bagong sigla, boses ng bawat huwan, para sa bagong Pilipinas. Boses ng bawat huwan, para sa bagong Pilipinas. Boses ng bawat huwan.